Hello Aquarius, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. If there's something you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we have the Queen of Swords, higher perspective, clarity, objectivity, bird's eye view. Okay? I think this is good. I think we need that from time to time, right? Let's put that into some context. What are we looking at here? Okay? Okay, we've got Four of Wands. We've got Ace of Swords. Four of Cups now. Okay, we've got Prince of Swords. And a Six of Pentacles. Interesting. Four, and then six. I feel like we're getting this higher perspective on something that has not always been clear to us. It kind of feels like the four was the limit. And we've been trying to look at things and see why, or see if this is this true? We've been looking for clarity. We have that ace down below. What we've been experiencing maybe is a little bit of cloudiness, right? Let's keep going here. We have Princess of Wands. We have Seven of Cups, all right. Knight of Wands and the Magician. Now, what does the Magician do but achieve the impossible, right? So looking at this, it seems like the four is kind of what we've come to expect. And it might even have been this feeling, and now we're trying to get this bird's eye view. We're climbing up to the top of the mountain, we're looking down to say, is this really it? Is this four really everything that's going on? Is this all that I'm capable of? Well, no, it's not. You're achieving the impossible here. You're realizing that, and you're figuring out how to do it, right? Now, the Ace of Swords is that answer, but it's like a magic trick where you're not telling everybody, you know? This is kind of saying a magician doesn't reveal the secrets of how it does things, but you are getting that information. It is being revealed to you. I can't tell you what it is, right? But you're getting the clarity that you need. And it's important. We take the stairs up here, right? We get all this air energy right here. We have to do this bird's eye view. And it's kind of saying, don't feel bad about things. Don't judge things. Don't resign yourself to failure. Don't think of it as being impossible. Think of it as yourself. How do I achieve the impossible? How do I do it? Okay, because we're looking at this, we can look at it either way. This is the Prince of Swords. This is air on air, double air, cloudy, too much air, too much confusion. We could look at things different ways. We can say, yeah, this is the limit of what's possible for me. And so if I stay within this circle, I'm okay. That's going to be, I'll be successful, I'll be able to achieve, and that's fine. Well, that's one way to look at it. A different perspective is to say, hey, how do I perform how do I expand this circle? Now we see, look, we've got the Six of Pentacles. We're expanding it. It's a glowing light. It's a living, breathing circle, you know, we can push it. We can push the boundaries out of what's possible for us. So I think you really are achieving something that you thought at one point you could not do. And that to me is extraordinary. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. It's a random card. It's from the Smith-Waite Tarot. And it is the factor infinite and unknown. And it's going to go right here. Mr. Ed's going to go right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. But it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Okay. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments. Okay. We could do it together. Interactive group exercise. Spirit showed me something about a silver necklace that you wear. I don't know what's at the end of it. I don't know if it's a pendant of some kind or if it's like a locket. I feel like it's something that's kind of round. I don't know if there's something inside of it or if it's just a silver piece, something, right? But Spirit's pointing that out to me, that silver necklace. Maybe it might be a religious kind of thing or something it's significant to you, has meaning for you, right? Looking around here, the only major arcana card we have is that Magician, right? And we think of the Magician as the interface with the crowd. The Magician is the one that interacts with the audience, and does the tricks and does the performance. What we don't sometimes realize as the audience is that there's a lot of people behind the Magician. There's a lot of energy behind the Magician. A lot of planning went into this performance. Didn't just wake up one morning, get out on stage and start pulling rabbits out of the hat. A lot of planning, a lot of trial and error, a lot of pushing the boundaries of what was possible. And this is innovation here. Okay, this is saying, yeah, I've learned the magic tricks. I know what all the other kind of stage magicians are doing. How do I go beyond that? Right? This is all of that planning, suffering, the grief, right? The dismay, the despair of it, but the tenacity. Right? This is what we thought was the limit. 4 of Cups, 4 of Wands. This is all I could create. This is as good as it gets. This is the boundary of what is possible, right? Circle gets the square, right? Whatever that means. But we're leading into the expansion, going beyond what is possible. Performing this magic that feels, when the magician's out on stage doing these things, the rest of us think, how is that possible? How are they doing that? Like we know intellectually, like it's got to be a trick, right? It's got to be an illusion. Obviously, he's doing it somehow, but it looks like he just pulled that thing out of thin air. Like, how did it get here? It astonishes us. We have this bewilderment. And I think that's really an important factor. We have to use our imagination in order to believe that those things are possible. That you can perform those kinds of things in your life. Maybe you're not a stage magician. Maybe you are. I don't know. I doubt it. But you could be. But the idea here is the limit of imagination, right? If we don't believe it's possible for ourselves, if we don't believe that we can do anything beyond this circle and square, then that's it. We're not going to. So it's about changing perspective. It's about getting a higher view of things and say, wow, that circle is actually kind of small. I can push the boundaries out. I can expand this in so many different ways. We have to innovate. Okay. Now the 4 of Cups, I think, was this energy behind you. This is what you're bringing here to the reading today, I think, is just like, this is as good as it gets. And this is the peak of my, emotional experience of life. That this is all there was, maybe that our best days have been behind us. Maybe this is kind of our heart starting to accept the fact that, I have to be okay with a certain limitation. That this is a hard boundary for me, and I can't do anything beyond this. And it's kind of like in our heart we feel sad because we're starting to accept this so-called fact. The magician is reminding us that nothing is a fact. There's no such thing as facts, right? There's just consensus. So we start to resign ourselves. We start to just say, no, I'm not meant for these things. I can't do anything past this point. And it's really, it's kind of a sad energy, I'll be honest with you, all right? And it really is, it's limiting our creativity. It's limiting our progress. It's limiting our motivation. It's putting a hard limit on our fire. on our passion, on our will, on our drive to create. Now we've boxed ourselves in. Now we've taken our creative drive, that driving force, and we've put it inside of a little box. It just barely fits. Okay. But something's going on with you here where we've got this vertical line, this vertical connection that you're rising higher. And I don't know if it's through prayer, meditation, if it's just something that's happening that might be triggered by something in the environment. We've got this Seven of Cups in the environment, and maybe this is just, we're kind of sick of it. And so there's this feeling of just like, I'm not going to take this anymore, and we're getting this surge of creative energy where we're just saying, wait, I'm not done yet. And we're climbing higher, and we're looking for this higher perspective. And I think we're able to see the limits that we've put on ourselves just by the simple fact of what we believe is possible, what we accept as being a fact of life. Okay. And now this is obviously still rational energy. This is not saying, well, I thought it was impossible for human beings to breathe underwater, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? That's kind of silly. That's nonsense. That's not what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about the limits of what you can achieve in life. The limit, and we all have limits, right? We're limited just by the fact that we are in this body, right? That my energy can't go everywhere at once, all at once. That there's a boundary between me and the other solid objects of the world. Okay, we know this. This is something that is relatively true for us. I don't know how factual it is, but that's how we experience life. Okay, so we have to be practical. We have to use common sense, but we also have to think magically. We have to think with our imagination. We have to believe that we can do more, that we can achieve more, that we can expand our realm of experience as much as we possibly can. Okay, and so we're getting a higher perspective, and I think we're, in a very practical way, we're understanding what our limitations actually are. How much of them are actual limitations, like relative limitations in this perceived experience, and how much is a limitation that we're putting on ourselves. I think that's the distinguishing factor. That's kind of the duality of the air and air of the prince, right? Because the Prince of Swords is double air. So we're understanding what is an actual kind of limit in my physical existence, and what is me believing in the limitation? Like, how much of it is me putting that limitation on myself? Okay, so we're getting that perspective, and I think what you're realizing is that while there are physical limitations that we all have to deal with, by removing some of our self-imposed limitations, it's making a huge difference. Right? Just taking away that little bit of self-restricted energy is making all the difference. You're achieving the impossible. You're achieving what you previously believed was impossible. Okay? So now we've got this fire energy, the Princess of Wands. This is the energy to experiment, to innovate, to always be pushing the boundaries. To have this idea, this off the top of my head, I want to do some kind of new trick. I want to do this teleportation, illusion on stage. I'm thinking of what is that movie, Christian Bale? I like Christian Bale. I got to say that. I heard he's a fan of the show, but I'm not sure, not certain. I don't like that he was mean to his mother. But this is us, having this great idea and saying, I'm going to try it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to make this work. We've got to believe that it is possible. Everything is possible, but maybe I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. Right? And that's kind of the difference that the magician takes with this air energy. We think of magic as being, the performance of what is impossible, right? Doing the impossible, creating the impossible. But really what magic is, it's just science that we don't understand yet. There's nothing supernatural about magic. There is an attention to what's outside of the box, what's outside of the realm, outside of the circle of what is commonly thought to be possible, right? But if anything and everything is possible, then magic is just us figuring out how to accomplish it, right? And that's the difference between science, I think, and magic, right? Science is just magic that we now have figured out how to do, or we think we have anyway. That's a different subject. But the Princess of Wands, this is the one that wants to expand that circle. It's always pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It's like this energy is inside this circle, going up to every point of the circle and just pushing it back just a little bit, pushing the envelope, pushing the boundaries of what's possible as much as we can. First, we have to believe that, yes, it's possible. Maybe I'll never figure out how to do it. Maybe I will, but I won't be able to actually go through with it. Or technically I won't be able to do it, but I'll understand how it works, right? And this is all intense progress. This is all very, very expansive. It's life-changing. Okay, just this shift in our perception. The Seven of Cups here in the position of the environment. This is the card of illusion, in a way, right? This is, I think this is really a weird one because we're talking about magic and these kind of, the performance of things that seem impossible. But what this card is kind of asking us is that kind of age-old question: how real is this world, right? How accurate is my perception? I have a black sphere here. How accurate is that perception? I know I experience it as a black sphere, but what is it really? Right? What is it really made of? If I take this apart, what's inside of there? It feels pretty solid. But what's in there? What is reality? What is this world that I perceive through my senses in a certain way? But I realize that my perception, what I see on the screen of my mind, is not what's really out here. It's just what all of my senses have collected and presented to my soul as an image, as an experience, as a point event of life, right? So I don't know how much is real and how much is not real. I know relatively that if I drop this on my toe, it's going to hurt, in a very relative way. That's a fact, right? But I don't know what this actually is. I don't know what pain actually is, except how I experience it through those nerve endings. Obviously, something has stimulated a pain receptor, and that's made its way to my brain, and that's presented itself to my consciousness as ouch. But I don't know what any of that really is. It's all light. It's all nothing. What is it, right? The Seven of Cups is kind of asking about that in the position of the environment, right? How much of our world, how much of our perception of the world is real? How much is illusion? How much is just the collection, the consensus that we've established within ourselves from all of our different data sets, all put together in one, this is what I think it is, right? And that's basically what our mind, brain, body does. It takes a bunch of little pieces of data, right? It's like we've got a puzzle that's 1,000 pieces. We take 5 of those pieces, maybe 6 if we're lucky. We take 6 of those puzzle pieces and we try to stuff them together and say, this is what I think it is, right? It's like a meme even, right? Someone should make that meme. Anyway, that's what it kind of feels like with the Seven of Cups, okay? And I'm not giving a personal opinion on this. I don't know which way's up most of the time. But this is what this card's saying, I think, right now, is that we're basing our life and our reality on just 5 pieces of the puzzle out of thousands of pieces. So we think we've put it together. We think we know what's going on. But this is a very, very limited data set, okay? And that's what the Seven of Cups is. And that's a way, I think, of us realizing that I can do more. There is more that's possible for me. And this is in a very practical way, maybe in terms of your creativity, of your job, your relationships, your life, your spirituality, your philosophy, your personal experience of life, right? The thing we don't want is impulsivity. We don't want to be one of those people that says, the world is pretend, the world is fake, this is all Maya, this is all illusion. Therefore, when I drop this big thing on my toe, it's not going to hurt, right? If I touch the hot stove, I'm not going to get burned, right? If I treat someone unkindly, they're not going to feel it. They're not real. I'm not going to feel it when somebody treats me poorly, right? Because I'm not real either. We don't want to be that person. Okay. And I think that's running away with this idea and abandoning common sense. This is fire on fire, right? We're trying to avoid that. And that's why this card is in the position of what we do not want, right? Because what we want is the magician. We want the magic. We want to experience life in all of its wonderment. We want to be bewildered. We want to see life and be like, I don't know what this is, but it is extraordinary. It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time. I want to know how it works. I want to dive deeper into what's possible and into the nature of reality, the nature of consciousness. And so it's a motivating thing. But the magician, this Mercury energy, is also very adaptable. It knows in a very real way. Mercury can believe two things at once. Two opposing views can be held in our mind at the same time. The world is illusion. What I experience is only a fraction of reality. What I've done is taken 5 pieces out of an infinite puzzle and I said, this is the world. This is what's real, right? I know that. I also know that this is the world in which we all have to operate. And so I've got to, I've got to function in life as if my 5 pieces of the puzzle are real. That this is part of the puzzle. Maybe it's not the whole thing, but it's part of it. This is just as real as the rest of it in that relative way. So my actions do matter. My thoughts and feelings do matter, and so do yours. The way I treat people matters. Okay? And it really does. And especially if everything is an illusion, if everything is possible and everything is magic, wouldn't we want to create a world that's full of love and beauty and joy? Well, therefore, let's do that, right? If we put that energy out into the world, that's the world that we're creating. That's magic, right? If we wish that the world was friendly and nice and kind and beautiful and harmonious, but then we're just kind of at home, lamenting and cursing everything, that really isn't helping anything, And I'm not trying to preach. Definitely not trying to preach. I feel like this is something going on with you where you're realizing, again, that you are capable of so much more than you've previously believed, that you are achieving what has been till now impossible for you. You're achieving the impossible, right? Let's look at that mystery card. Let's see what Mr. Ed's got for us. Maybe it's that Empress energy, right? Maybe it's a 9 or a 10 of cups, 9 or a 10 of pentacles. We've got a little bit of the earth energy here. We got a bit of fire. We've got our water. Definitely have our air. Maybe we need the 6 of swords, right? The other component of magic, yeah. But sometimes we don't want the 6 of swords, do we? We don't want to know how the sausage is made. We don't want to see how the magician does the trick, because then it's like, doesn't have that terrifying, joy to it anymore. Yeah. So maybe we don't want the 6 of swords. Let's see what we have. 8 of pentacles. Well, that's good. We've got the 6 here. Now we've got the 8, so we have more earth energy. This is a reminder that for every great magician, for every 45-minute stage performance of a magician, there have been hours and hours and hours of work, right? So much trial and error, so much innovation, so much just thinking, right? So much philosophizing, a lot of experimentation, a lot of failures, a lot of time spent in the laboratory tinkering with things just to produce that 30-minute stage show, right? So this is a card that reminds us it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of hours put into something that is maybe going to be just 30 minutes of beautiful and terrifying awe, right? But it's worth it. It's so worth it. But we have to know that this is how the sausage is made, right? So I feel like all of these cards are just what's behind the magician. This is everything that goes into being that master of your own life, master of your own reality, the creator of your own reality. Okay. Now we're going to do an extended reading as well if you want to stick around. There's a link in the corner. There is one down below. New readings for Aquarius every Thursday and Sunday. 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.